All right, let's get back onto hockey topics. I want to talk about something that happened on the ice. Gosh darn it. Sorry for the language. The Tampa Bay Lightning. 2015, they got close, and they got close enough that as a person who likes to look at what teams are going to win a Stanley Cup, I do think that eventually this team does get a Stanley Cup. Because in my eyes, the Tampa Bay Lightning are just they're too good not to get a Stanley Cup with this core. They went on a nice run, which was a long one. There was no easy series in any of them, and they came up just short against a team that is as close to a dynasty as we're likely to see in this modern age, unless the Pittsburgh Penguins win one next year. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, shall we? The Tampa Bay Lightning. Their run was all about drama. And it wasn't overtime drama as much as it was game sevens and facing adversity and coming back against that adversity. And it started, this is where the Rangers-Tampa thing starts. I'm trying to recall now, you have the Marty St. Louis trade, which was huge for both teams. And they meet in this Stanley Cup playoffs. It was the last run that Marty St. Louis had in his career, and it's a series that's only 3 years old, so we can look back on this, and I remember it pretty well. And I remember pulling for Tampa because at work we had one of those 16 teams, 16 people, and you don't have choice over which team you get, so it was a random draw, and I got Tampa. And during these playoffs, I went out and bought a Chicago Blackhawks jersey because I was actually really proud of Chicago that year, which was weird because I couldn't stand them in 2013 or 2010 when they won. But 2015, just all of the storylines, all of the drama, all of the off-ice stuff that could have distracted them, and they won the cup. But at the same time, I really honestly should have been pulling for Tampa a little more than I was because there was some money on the line. $320. Yeah, $20 per team, 16 guys, $320. Anyways, that's as close to gambling as I get, and I got right to the finals. In the first round, they lost to Detroit 3-2 in the first game. They won game 2 5-1. They lost game 3 3-0. They won game 4 3-2. They lost game 5 4-0. They were down 3 games to 2. So what did they do? They win 2 in a row. They went 5-2 and 2-0. Ben Bishop, is he a playoff goaltender? The answer is yes. The answer I'm looking for is yes. Montreal Canadiens in the next round, they win game 1 2-1. They won game 2 6-2. They won game 3 2-1. They're home and cleared, so what do they do with the 3-0 series lead? They make it more dramatic than it really probably had to be. They lost game 4 6-2. They lost game 5 2-1. And then in game 6, Bishop, they win 4-1. So Montreal's out in 6, and Tampa moves on against the Rangers. And again, when you're looking for former Rangers, you've got Stroman here, you've got Callahan here, and if you look at the team now, it's a lot more former Rangers than it was back then. But there was a Rangers, Tampa Bay, Marty St. Louis, they got to go through St. Louis kind of storyline going on here. And that storyline was kind of sort of dramatic. It's a 7-game series. And of course, in a game 7, Henrik Lundqvist tends to be pretty darn good. So Lundqvist, Bishop, who's going to win it? They lost the first game 2-1. They won the second game 6-2. They won game 3 in overtime 6-5. They lost game 4 5-1. So 2-2 series there. They win 2-0 in game 5. They lost game 6 7-3. Game 7. Here we go. It's the big matchup. Henrik Lundqvist in game 7s is amazing. Tampa beats him 2-0. In the Stanley Cup final, it's Tampa, it's Chicago. I honestly was picking Tampa. I thought Tampa should maybe win, and yet at the same time, I'm like, it's Chicago, it's Chicago, it's Chicago. In the first game, Chicago wins 2-1. Games 2 and 3, Tampa won both games, 4-3 and 3-2. And This was a fun series. For a series that was low scoring, this was fun to watch. They lose 3 in a row to lose the series in 6. But what an amazing run they had. They lost 2-1, 2-1, and 2-0. And I know that for Tampa fans who've just watched them lose in the semifinals, they may not very well appreciate such a fresh wound being reopened. But I tell you, this was a run that really they reminded me a lot of the 2013 Bruins. It was a fun run to watch. At the end of that series against Chicago, I was very proud of them. I thought they did very well for themselves. And I still think eventually this core will win a Stanley Cup. Leading the way in scoring, Tyler Johnson, 13 goals and 10 assists. Nikita Kucherov, 10 goals, 12 assists. Alex Killorn, 9 goals and 9 assists. Killorn is a big game scorer. Stamkos, 7 goals and 11 assists. And, of course, his record of not scoring points in Game 7s is becoming kind of a thing. Now that Ovechkin's got a cup ring, now Stamkos is kind of on the clock, and people are starting to look at his stats. Palat, 8 goals and 8 assists. Filppula, 4 goals, 10 assists. Hedman, a goal and 13 assists. Strawman, a goal and 8 assists. Callahan, 2 goals and 6 assists. Garrison, 2 goals and 5 assists. And Nikita Nesterov with a goal and 5 assists. Ben Bishop, 13 wins, 11 losses. 2.18 goals against average and a .921 save percentage. Andrei Vasilevsky in a backup role, 1 win, 1 loss, 3.19 goals against, and .895 save percentage. It's a team that's changed between then and now, but not a lot. Bishop's obviously gone. Filppula's been moved out, and Garrison's long gone. Nesterov is a funny one because I like Nikita Nesterov. I always thought he was a half decent puck-moving defenseman. I always thought maybe on the right team, and no, it just never happened for him. So there you go. Your 2015 Tampa Bay Lightning, and I really honestly think we'll see Stamkos and the boys holding up a Stanley Cup at some point in their careers, because in my mind, the team is too good, too well built not to win a Stanley Cup at some point. And Steve Yzerman as GM has done an amazing job keeping most of this roster together and keeping it under the cap at a time where we see teams like Chicago and Pittsburgh having to tear things apart and do little minor rebuilds because they have to worry about cap issues. The Washington Capitals themselves went through that last summer, and they're still kind of there this summer. So kudos to the Lightning for having avoided that apocalypse for now. We'll see how long they can continue it and whether or not they can eventually scale that mountain and get a Stanley Cup. I say they will. We'll find out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. I'll talk to you again soon.